Stands perhaps facing that other street, facing the existing townhomes with a similar height and design product. But given the size of this parcel, given its proximity to all this retail and office here, that should very much have been a 3, 4, 5-story condominium or apartment building with single floor units.
Now I asked the mayor about that, and I guess the earlier version that they were going to, the city had voted on, and that they ended up not enacting on, that there was going to be more condo units in this development. But what he said was that the condo market at that point sort of bottomed out.
Right. But you know what? It's already recovering, I'm hearing, especially in the city. And you know, you have to be patient with these cycles sometimes, and that's not necessarily give up on your vision for a particular short-term cycle. You know, the market for condo and apartment is apparently returning, especially apartment right now. The type of real estate that Americans may be buying into is starting to change significantly since the real estate collapse. And if you think about downsizing empty nesters and retirees, while like many of them may be tempted to go for the townhouse, in a few years they may be wondering about all the steps they're walking up and down. And if we're looking at an aging population, we're all getting older. There's something, I can't remember, 2010 and 2011, if you trace back from age 65 to, you get back to 1945, 1946. The biggest chunk of baby boomers are from those 2 years, and we're talking in the millions. And we increasingly need to be building housing that is more appropriate for an older population. And the convenience of a single floor living is really, with the elevator buildings, is going to be much more in demand. And I think Northern Virginia is likely to find it has a vast oversupply of townhouses.
So how does a multi-floor condo unit structure like that then feed into what we see behind us?
Well, you immediately get more people, more customers for the stores right here. That would certainly enhance their success and reduce the amount that they have to draw in cars from farther out.
And then it becomes less of an issue of parking.
Absolutely. And you might have people here who, as these households, will only own one car. And some might even own no cars, especially for the younger generation.
Yeah, they could take the bus down to the metro station.
And you combine it with Zipcar. Do we have Zipcar in the city? I don't think so, right?
I don't know.
They might have it at George Mason.
They might have it at George Mason. I'm pretty sure they have it at the Vienna lot.
I will double check, but I think the last time I went online, there were no cars at Vienna. The last ones were at West Falls Church, which could be a problem. But you know, when you start to get all the pieces together, I mean, enough people living in downtown who can walk for their trips, who don't need their cars very often, but for you know, only a couple times a week, with good bus access to the metro station in George Mason, and with Zipcar available for car trips. I mean, you really manage to get all the pieces working together, and you ultimately will need less parking overall.